So I'm Khyati, known as Bookish Fame, as a blogger on Instagram and otherwise as well. So I have been into book blogging for almost 5 years now, and wherein I have kind of collaborated with the publishers and authors, the up and coming authors, to review their books and market their books on the social media as well as my blog. And besides this, I'm a freelance content writer and also associated as a content manager with a mental health care startup right now. Yeah.
So how would you describe Bookstagram to someone who doesn't really know what Bookstagram is?
Right. So even when I started Bookstagram specifically in 2018, even I didn't know about like what is Bookstagram actually. But when I got onto the platform, I realized, okay, it is something which is a combination of books plus Instagram. So Instagram used to be a platform for sharing the photos. So Bookstagram essentially means wherein you share the aesthetic pictures, or not so aesthetic pictures of the books, and share your reviews on the books that you read and create content around books. The Bookstagram is a community, it's a close-knit community of a lot of readers and the people who love reading and so on.
And so you read a lot of books, obviously. So could you tell us about your journey with books, like how it started and how it all began? Also something about your childhood and where you come from.
Right. So I am from Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. And when it comes to my relationship with books, so I think I kind of grew up loving books. So when I was a child, I'm just around 3 or 4 years or so, I would just go, to houses of my, say, relatives or acquaintances, and I would just ravage their bookshelves, literally, because I just wanted something to read. And because I just didn't have books at my home, apart from the academics, of course. So like I would just go and find and search for books, hunt them down wherever and whenever I could find them, and read them. So back at home, I had access to, say, newspapers or those periodical magazines that we get with the those Champak magazines, those other things. So I used to read them, and I used to like kind of derive pleasure out of it. But slowly we got acquainted, we got introduced to the school library. We got access to that. We got around reading books then, and slowly this entire love affair with the reading grew up. And then when I came back, I didn't have books even until my teens. So in the second year of my engineering, so I'm an engineer, okay, so the second year of my engineering in 2017, a friend of mine, he introduced me to the entire ecosystem of book reviewing, the book blogging, and I didn't know about it at all before that. So it was then when I got introduced to the whole thing. I started reviewing books of the authors, slowly got ahead with collaborating with the publishers as well. And then I kind of started building my personal library, and now I have like so many books that I don't have as much space to accommodate them. So it's been a very beautiful journey with reading books and having them all around me all the time.
And okay, so you have said that your I was going through the Q&A section of your highlights on Instagram, and I saw that you're very passionate about mental health, and that if you had a chance, you would probably write a book or maintain a blog on mental health, right? So how has reading helped you with mental health? How has it improved, or what has been your journey with that?
Okay. So yeah, I am very deeply passionate about the mental health. In fact, I am working at a mental health care startup now. So I think the association is pretty strong here. But yeah, growing up, I was a very introvert person. So for me, communication has been one big obstacle, and when it comes in, mental health comes into picture when you are not able to express yourselves as clearly as you would want to, or you cannot just talk about it. And most of the days I just felt alone, lonely growing up. So that was when I started seeing books as my friends. Like I had people around, but I just never felt that kind of connection with them, right? Because it's very hard to, I mean, you want to fit into the crowd, but you're not able to because there is some other issue that you kind of face. So it was that that happened with me, and the lack of communication really got to my head, and hence I have been in a bad phase on and off again. So when it came to books, I think I just felt like home. And when I, because growing up I felt that I have to have, this communication or this connection with people. I have to be around people because that's the norm. But as I said, when I got access to my school library, I realized that it is not so like that. Like it's not important to be around people all the time. You can pretty much enjoy your own company and be comfortable with that. So I remember I would just sit in my school library then and spend hours reading books all by myself, nobody to interrupt, and I never felt like an odd one out then. So I think reading books has, just gave me a comfort, a place of peace, and I really feel like I think I'm much, much, much more happier now after
Okay.
having started reading the books.
That's great to know. And
Yeah.
so I was thinking about what made you think of the username Bookish Fame. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, because it's quite
So,
unique.
yeah,
It's quite
bookish face.
unique.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. So when it comes to bookish fame, I think it just came out of the blues. Initially, I thought about naming all about fame because I mean my name is Khyati and it translates to fame in English. So I was like, all about fame just doesn't sound very interesting and very catchy. So bookish fame just came out of the blues. I just thought I mean, as a blogger, if I have to say, I am known for being a very passionate book nerd. And I read so much books. I just feel like my entire being is made up of books, reading, and everything. And so I thought to name it Bookish Fame. And I think that has just done very well in the long run.
So you have amassed a huge following on Instagram, right? So is there something that you don't like about Bookstagram? Like there is something that you find very annoying or something that you don't personally care for?
Okay. I think Bookstagram has been a nice and very warm place in general. I mean, there is not a lot of competition, like competitive feeling is not there. People are just very welcoming to you.
Mhm.
They just see you as readers and they just see you as
Yeah,
a part of their tribe. So I think that's very beautiful thing about Bookstagram. But sometimes, at the end of the day, it's like Bookstagram is also a social media only, right?
yeah.
So social media itself has its own flaws. So there could be clash of opinions, there could be conflicting ideas, there could be this urge to just prove yourself right and other one wrong. So these kind of small nitty gritty tidbits just keep on happening, which shouldn't be like a big issue, but yeah, sometimes it does get overwhelming. Also when it comes to Bookstagram, or I think any content creation thing for that matter, sometimes it's creating content just gets a lot of just gets a lot overwhelming. I mean, this is a part of the process after all.
Yeah.
But otherwise Bookstagram is a really nice place to be, and to share your thoughts on the books you read, and to get a sneak peek into the others minds as well.
Okay. And I would like to get some recommendations, like who were your favorite authors as a child and who are some of your favorites right now?
So I didn't have a favorite author growing up. I didn't have
Okay.
a favorite book growing up, but one of some of my favorite books are Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albom, a book that I never stop recommending to anyone. Second, I think would be a To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, and it's so hard to just come up with book recommendations on spot. So these two are definitely on my list always. Um, then I think I really like reading Hindi literature as well, and there I always, I'm always very much in awe of Premchand. So yeah, these would be it. Just these are the ones I can recollect right now.
Okay, so I remember seeing Sudha Murthy on your page,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, so I thought, could you explore like what actually connects you to Sudha Murthy's stories?
Yeah. So I think I have read a book, 3000 Stitches by Sudha Murthy ma'am. And this, it's a collection of stories from her own life and experiences that she has shared. What really inspires me about Sudhamurthy ma'am itself is her humility and her simplicity, and that itself reflects in the way she writes stories, which are very simple but which are very relatable. I mean, and when she shares the stories from her own life, how she has braved the challenges, how she continues to work for the betterment of the society, and all of that, I think I really feel so warm about it, that there's a lady out there who doesn't really care about that how the people are seeing her, but she's very focused and dedicated towards her work. And this entire dedication devotion of hers towards writing, towards all of those things, it just reflects beautifully in her stories. So I think if you have not started reading the author, please do read 3000 Stitches by Sudhamurthy.
So what is we've discussed what was one of the most overwhelming aspects of Bookstagram. So what is the best part about being on Bookstagram?
The best part about personally, I feel it's you get to connect with a lot of readers. I mean, say in real life you might not have as many reader friends, but on Bookstagram it's all about readers, and you get to get a variety of recommendations. Like, I think my reading has gone very, very diverse. There are so many books that I must have never come across if I was not on Bookstagram. People just read books from different continents, from different cultures, and it's very beautiful to just come across their recommendations, try them out whenever you can, and enjoy them. So I think you get a lot of diversity in your own reading. Secondly, you get to share your own thoughts with people, with like-minded people. So I think it's again a very beautiful aspect of Bookstagram. Third, if you are, and Bookstagram, I don't think should be limited to just talking about books. If you love writing, talk about it. If you have any other hobby, talk about it. Just let it be there, and let your artist side of your personality just come out, and I think everyone is going to accept you.
So can you recommend some more Bookstagram pages that you look up to and that have inspired you to create content?
Right, sure. So one of my very favorite Bookstagrammers is Vidya, from her handle is Reader With. I mean, I really like the kind of content she puts up. Then second is Kritika from Ask the Book Bug. Then there is Ayushi from Pen and Papers. There is Soul Touch Reads. There is Books Make Me Whole, Nilanjali, and many more. I'm not able to recollect all of them, but yeah, these are few of them that I can recollect right now.
All right. So being a digital creator comes with its own quirks. Like, there are obviously positives and negatives to everything. So who
Right.
has helped you and motivated you throughout the journey of you becoming a digital creator now? Yeah.
Okay. So I think I'm going to credit myself here.
Okay.
because because when I started out, I'll be honest, as a digital creator for that matter, or as a blogger for that matter, I didn't have a lot of support from my people around me. Even my parents took a lot of time to accept that there is something that I'm doing, and which at least has a 0.1% value attached to it. So it was a lot. I mean, it took a lot of time for me to find my own tribe on Instagram itself.
Mhm.
But when people around me, they just started showering support and love, and they still tell me that whatever you're doing is good
Mhm.
and is helping others. I think those beautiful messages keep me going. And as for the credit, I'm definitely going to give it to myself, because
Okay.
I have not given up on my own passion for doing things. Even there are dark days, there are bad days, there are low days, there are beautiful days, but despite everything, you have to just show up every day, because that's how you progress ahead in life. So, and besides that, I think there are a few of my close friends who have always given me the extended support as and when they could, and I'm very grateful to all of that. And I'm grateful to those people who continue to follow me and show their support in me. To you, who is here to interview me, I think that in itself is a very big thing for me. So I think these small things just keep me going and continue to be a digital creator.
All right. So I wanted to ask a question that's kind of a little like personal, like you said that
Yeah,
when you were growing up, you mostly had access to academic books, right? So you
yeah,
weren't able to read a lot of storybooks. So I had the same
yeah,
problem, and I would
yeah.
always be looking for, storybooks in like school libraries and stuff. But
Mhm.
my parents, they never really saw the value in reading, books that other than your course books. So is that something that happened to you? Because so I have seen, at least in India, that there are booktubers who are trying their best, right? They are trying to create an audience, but it is not that easy to find an audience in India, especially if you're only making content, on books. As it is in, like, say, UK, where we have like big booktubers, right? So do
Mhm.
you think that's a problem that's happening because there are people who kind of look down on people who read books? Sort of, there's this very quote unquote nerd like aspect
Mhm.
of reading books, and that is affecting the maybe the content creators as well.
Probably yes. I think bookstagram, or I mean book blogging or booktubing is a very niche community in India, and it's up and coming even now. Uh, I mean, you talk about the fashion content, you talk about lifestyle content, you talk about travel content, you will see a lot of interest of people going towards those things. But when it comes to book blogging, people just do not really. I mean, we
Yeah.
don't get audience as easily as they would get,
Mhm.
because not many people want to, spend time reading books or consuming content around books. So yeah, I think that's a very big challenge, because reading is supported in our country, and in a lot of households also, I think. But when it comes to pursuing it as a content creation, that
Mhm.
then it becomes a problem, and it's a very niche community.
Mhm.
So, and pretty much new, so I think it will take a lot of some time for us to get comfortable with it and support the people who are doing their best to promote the culture of reading.
Okay. So there is like, you must have read a lot of books, obviously, but it's not necessary that we remember all of it. But there
Yeah.
must have been a few books that kind of, were very memorable. So what are some of those memorable reads of like 2022 or 2021 that kind of stood with you, is stuck with you?
Mm-hmm. Again, I'm not able to recall.
Okay, that's completely fine. That's okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I'll just ask you the one last question. That's the
Okay.
end of it.
Yeah.
So, are there any exciting future projects that you'd like to share with us?
None so far. I mean, I really look forward to kind of venturing into tubing. I mean, I
Mhm.
have been on Instagram for a long time. I have been, clicking good pictures and writing
Yeah.
captions and all of that. But I think I should get into booktubing and start being more out,
Yeah.
putting more of me
Poetry.
out there. So that is one thing that I would like to take up
Mhm.
sometime very, very soon. Second is the field of podcasting, which is picking up right now in India and I think across the globe. So I just want to understand how it works, and
Mhm.
maybe just start with that as well.
So, the podcast that you'll be making, that's going to revolve around bookish content.
Yeah, I think books. And I'm not going to put. I don't know if we can just have a very general podcast. Like, I really don't want to niche it down to books. I just want to include mental health care and self development and self growth and positivity. So all of those things. So let's see how does it pan out in the future.
Okay, there's one question that I just remembered. So, you read both fiction, non-fiction, you read self-help, right? You read a very diverse genre of books. And
Mhm.
there's a narrative on social media, particularly if you like open LinkedIn, there's this narrative that, fiction doesn't really help you that much. So
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you this question, that how has fiction helped you? Like, obviously nonfiction is very out there, that it gives you a kind of nuggets of information, but what has fiction helped you gain in life? Like, how has it helped you grow?
Right, right, right. So I understand people feel that nonfiction gives them a lot of food for thought. It
Mhm.
gives them, power to probably develop their brains and get a lot of knowledge. But I think we are humans and we connect with stories.
Yeah.
Fiction is a story, and again, I don't think they are completely imaginative. the one who is writing fiction is also in taking inspiration from the world outside around them only, right?
Mhm.
So there could be stories which are top, dealing with the cultural shifts, which are dealing with relationship issues
Mhm.
and generational issues. There could be a lot of things which can come into picture when it comes to fiction. So I think reading fiction is never a waste of time, as a lot of people think out there. Reading fiction just makes you more human. It just gives you an understanding of how humans function. I mean, humans are very complex people,
Yeah.
complex beings, and there is a lot that goes into their emotional side, their physical, I mean, their mental side, and everything, and how they interact with each other. So these small things, which we might not really pay a lot of attention to, is something that fiction brings out beautifully. So fiction is very much an escape from the reality, because yeah, you are always transported to a different land altogether, and you really enjoy it. But
Mhm.
it also brings you closer to what is happening around you,
Yeah.
right? You can read books about, which are again story, but they, maybe they're rooted in some racial discrimination, or
Mhm.
maybe it's in some societal issues, right? So I think fiction also exposes you to a lot of diverse ideas, and I think that's the beauty of fiction. Stories
Yeah.
connect us.
Okay, thank you so much for doing this with us.